Hey you! Welcome to our channel. This is Nala, our tiny home at Beneto's first 26 feet. I'm Conceição and this is our captain Cleanthis. We started our journey in 2016 from Greece, Crete, with the dream to circumnavigate the globe. Since then we visited West Africa, Senegal, the Bijagos archipelago in Guinea-Bissau and got trapped in the Caribbean. Exploring mountains is a passion and the depths of the sea is an obsession. But that's okay, since life itself is our only possession. Join us on this journey. Cheers. Don't finish it, okay?
Good morning guys. Today we're gonna try to show you step by step how we are living an anchorage by anchor. The first step we do is...
It's time you walk the plank.
By sail.
Good morning guys. Today we're gonna try to show you how we live an anchorage by sail with Nala and the steps step by step. The first step we do is to look around and check how the wind shifts on the bay and how the anchored boats or moored boats are following the wind, so we have a clear plan of escape. The second step, once we design the way to go and how we're gonna maneuver the boat through the anchorage with the current wind that we're facing, it's to decide which sail we're gonna use. Usually when it's just downwind and we have a lot of space, a lot of sailors prefer to wait anchor and then open the zero, roll the zeno out and go downwind. The safest way is to do it with the mainsail. The reason we use the mainsail and the mainsail is safest, first of all, is that once you hoist the mainsail, the boat tends to sail upwind and sail towards your anchor. So it's actually your boat itself, it's helping you to take up the chain, and in Nala we are taking up the chain by hand, so it's quite important. And if something happens, the mainsail it's easier to maneuver and control than the jib. In a small boat like Nala, if we want Nala to go backwards and actually reverse, we can even backwind the sail by just holding it and avoid collision or avoid other boats. The third step is to take as much anchor as you can up without the sails. Let's say sometimes when it's blowing a lot, we leave like 50 meters or 60 meters of chain and the next day it's calmer, but the chain is still there. So it's better to wait up like 20 or 30 meters before you get your sails up, especially if your boat tends to yawl a lot, to make taking the anchor back easier. So now we're gonna try to show you the practice of those steps, and it's quite challenging because we are only two persons and one has to manually weight the anchor and the other one has to steer the boat and walk the video. So it's gonna be quite challenging. We're gonna do our best. Today it's blowing 15 to 20 knots, so we're gonna start by taking some of the chain up before we hoist our sails. At this point, we have taken up as much anchor chain as possible without a Nala dragging. So we're gonna start with our sails. When it's windy, you can start directly with the third reef or your second reef. For today, we're gonna risk it a bit and we're gonna start without a reef, like we use our main sails normally. If we see that the boat is pulling too much on the anchor and I can't lift it up by hand, or it's too uncontrollable, we're gonna just take a reef on the main, so we can get better control on the boat and get away slower but safer. At this point we're gonna get our main up, and the procedure to get the mainsail up, it's the same procedure we do always. The boat has to face on the wind, you slack the main seat and you pull up the halyard. At this point, by leaving the mainsail completely slack, and right now Conceição that has a camera, it's a bit in a desert point to hit, the boat is not gonna move anywhere. So before I start working on the anchor again, we leave the mainsail slack so the boat doesn't sail on her anchor. And once I'm in the front, Conceição in the back, she's gonna tension and slack the mainsail as needed to help me get the chain up. Protect your head, baby.
I'm an endangered species because someone put me sitting next to the boom.
Go. Coproplastic.
Okay.
Fast. Huh?
Yeah.
So right now we managed to leave, and our plan was to turn on the right. But unfortunately the wind pushed us on the left, so Conceição had to sail on the wind to get some speed to avoid this boat and then use that speed to turn the boat. There is a problem with Nala. When we have all the mainsail up and it's windy, the mainsail turns to turn Nala on the wind. So when you have no speed, it's very difficult to turn. The trick for our boat is to get the speed, start turning, and while you are turning, to slack the main. This way the boat will stop, accelerating, but she will turn downwind as we are now. When you are downwind, it's very important to monitor the wind to avoid jibing the main. Now we are arriving on our destination, and we can try to drop the anchor by sails. Today it's gonna be, as it seems, an easy anchorage, because going to the anchorage, the way the wind has positioned us, we're gonna be downwind or beam reach, so you can very easily do it just with the main or just with the jib. On other anchorages you have to beat on them and they are quite more tricky, but the technique is almost the same. The first step we do is to scout the anchorage. So we need to look on the anchorage where we're gonna go and decide our tactic. We have the anchorage here that has some boats, but we would like to go kayaking. I lost the wind. We would like to go kayaking, so we're gonna anchor on this anchorage, which is more exposed, for at least 2 hours, and then maybe we're gonna move back after our kayaking trip finishes, back to where we were. At the moment, I'm gonna try to aim for the middle of the beach, so I can have space to drag. The reason that I want space to drag is because this bottom is really bad, and we're gonna be at least for 2 hours away from Nala. So if she drags, I don't want her to drag on the rocks. Right now, Conceição is controlling the boat. We are only with the main, and we are going to position to drop. Once we decide our place, she's gonna turn the boat upwind, and I'm gonna release the anchor. So right now, I have to move forward. This is our anchorage, and we are at 4 meters of depth almost. And we are almost ready to drop, so I have to close the camera.
Anchors away!